is just as significant to her as it is to his son. If he's a violent man, he may defile her verbally or sexually. The stories I've heard from women who have been abused would tear your heart out. Janet was molested by her father when she was 3. Around the age of 7, he showed her brothers how to do it. The assault continued until she moved away to college. What is a violated woman to think about her beauty? Am I lovely? The message is no, you are dirty. Anything sex and orgasm. It is a reality that extends to every aspect of our lives. When a man withholds himself from his woman, he leaves her without the life only he can bring. This is never more true than how a man offers or does not offer his words. She is made for and craves words from him. I just went upstairs to get a glass of water from the kitchen. Stacy was in there baking Christmas cookies. The place was a mess, to be honest. So was she, covered with flour and wearing a pair of old slippers. But there was something in her eye, something soft and tender, and I said to her, "You look pretty." The tension in her shoulders gave way. Something twinkled in her spirit. She sighed and smiled. "Thank you," she said, almost shyly. If the man refuses to offer himself, then his wife will remain empty and barren. A violent man destroys with his words. A silent man starves his wife. "She's wilting," a friend confessed to me about his new bride. "If she's wilting, then you're withholding something," I said. Actually, it was several things. His words, his touch, but mostly his delight. There are so many other ways this plays out in life. A man who leaves his wife with the children and the bills to go and find another easier life has denied them his strength. He has sacrificed them when he should have sacrificed his strength for them. What makes Maximus or William Wallace so heroic is simply this: they are willing to die to set others free. This sort of heroism is what we see in the life of Joseph, the husband of Mary, and the stepfather to Jesus. I don't think we fully appreciated what he did for them. Mary, an engaged young woman, almost a girl, turns up pregnant with a pretty wild story. "I'm carrying God's child." The situation is scandalous. What is Joseph to think? What is he to feel? Hurt, confused, betrayed, no doubt. But he's a good man. He will not have her stoned. He will simply divorce her quietly. An angel comes to him in a dream, which shows you what it sometimes takes to get a good man to do the right thing, to convince him that Mary is telling the truth and he is to follow through with the marriage. This is going to cost him. Do you know what he's going to do if he marries a woman the whole community thinks is an adulteress? He will be stunned by his business associates and most of his clients. He will certainly lose his standing in society and perhaps even his place in the synagogue. To see the pain he's in for, notice the insult that the crowds will later use against Jesus. "Isn't this Joseph and Mary's son?" they say with a sneer and nudge and a wink. In other words, we know who you are, the bastard child of that slut and her foolish carpenter. Joseph